In live-action One Piece, foreshadowing is probably the strongest literary device throughout this entire series. And it's so interesting because at this point, everybody that's been watching the live action has more or less grown up with One Piece culture. And actually, what I found out from my previous videos is a lot of you are exactly like me. We are satellite watchers. We aren't really interested in reading or watching One Piece, but we know what's happening. We know about Gear 5. And speaking of Gear 5, that was one of the foreshadowed events as well on Little Garden. Because when Dory and Brogy began their duel, they say, "May the sun god Nika look down on us," not knowing that the reincarnated sun god is literally watching their duel. Also, another way that they foreshadow events that are about to happen is the newspaper articles. Because the art department of this show could have just filled out the usual BS lorem ipsum, but instead, they packed it with current world events. Like in the second episode, when Flower Pop sits down, he pops open a newspaper that says the Princess of Alabasta is missing. And then in the same episode, we meet Vivi. Then, a few episodes later, when Mr. Five whips out the newspaper to taunt Vivi about Alabasta, the front page mentions the Bilkin Pirates, setting up the fact that after Little Garden, they're going to Drum Island. But that actually wasn't the only Easter egg in the newspaper, because while the front page was like, okay, this is what's coming next, but the actual interior of the newspaper kind of shows you the flow of how this live action show is going. Because as you see on the left side of the paper, they're talking about the East Blue, which was season 1. And in the middle, they have Alabasta, which is going to be season 3. And all the way on the right, we have Water 7. And the knee-jerk reaction to Water 7 being in the newspaper is the fact that they skipped over Skypiea. But there's no way that they're gonna, because there's a rumor that Oda's favorite arc in One Piece was the Jaya arc, which should tell One Piece fans that he really wants to see Blackbeard, considering they mentioned him by name on Drum Island. And speaking of Drum Island, there were 2 more Easter eggs. The first one is the one that's been dragged out throughout 2 seasons, Sanji is royalty. The second was my favorite, because with like 2 minutes left in the series, Chopper goes in his backpack and pulls out the freaking Rumble Balls. So look, what I want to know is, what was your favorite Easter egg in One Piece live action? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more of these videos, let me know.